and the startups and small and medium-sized firms that need every encouragement to make a success of commercializing their innovative ideas for the benefit of society. I mean, do we really need to regulate venture capital along with the big banks, as the Obama administration's Treasury Department is now proposing? They are not banks. They don't control the financial system. Instead, they are the most crucial economic midwife of innovation. And in any event, the total invested capital of the venture capital world wouldn't pay for the bonuses handed out to AIG executives. All the regulations like this do is drive down venture investment in innovative startups even further, therefore eroding the prospects for recovery. And as for Europe, do we really need to make it so hard for entrepreneurs to start a business, or to regulate bioengineering research because plants have feelings, as Switzerland recently did, or to continue to maintain bankruptcy laws that ban a failed entrepreneur from starting another company? By the way, in the United States, failing as an entrepreneur is a badge of honor. 9 out of 10 entrepreneurial startups fail anyway, and so the odds are that you're going to fail in that process, and that's viewed as a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. It's viewed as a learning experience, not necessarily as a disaster. But for too many countries in Europe, and indeed around the world, once an entrepreneurial fails, he is finished, kaput, end of story. I've gone around the world lots of times and talked to governments about starting an entrepreneurial culture and all of that stuff, and since they don't have a VC model, they look to government funding. And of course they say, of course with that government funding, we can't allow these companies to fail. They must succeed. Well, if they must succeed, then they fail, because that is not the way the genetics of startups really work. The reason they have to succeed, of course, is political. If you pump money in as a government and a business fails, then the opposition party says, see, these guys don't know how to spend money in a proper fashion. So it's a big political problem, and I understand that. But we've got to figure out a way to reward rather than punish risk-taking by entrepreneurs and SMEs. Fourth point would be something I'm calling patents for the people. I would argue that one of the secrets to economic success in the last 200 years of America has been its patent system, which, unlike the British system for which it was modeled at the time, charged basically 10 times the annual income of the average British citizen. In the United States, we came up with a system at that time, by the way, the designers of which were James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, two of our early presidents, Thomas Jefferson being the first patent examiner in the United States, first head of the patent office. We cheapened the system down to, we even went to the point of people could apply for a patent and not have to pay postage on the application they sent in. The results were pretty dramatic. Only 13 years after the first patent law was enacted in 1790, the United States had surpassed Britain in the number of new inventions patented, even though Britain was the acknowledged leader of the Industrial Revolution and had 3 times the population of the United States. By the 1860s, the number of new inventions patented in the United States was 7 times the number of Britain, even though our populations were equal in size at that time. Key here, of course, is not that the American patent system was that the United States patent system encouraged a broader range of creative individuals to take part in the inventive activity than was the case at the time in Britain. In fact, if you look at most of the prolific inventors, you find that they were basically school dropouts who had no money and had to invent their way to success in the United States. I think we need a similar approach today in our countries, making our systems more efficient and reliable and accessible and affordable. We need to reduce patent fees for small and medium-sized businesses, and often IP generation assistance and IP management services to SMEs, as apparently Singapore is doing. And we need to encourage more companies to adopt Bayh-Dole-type legislation to encourage the commercialization of government-funded university research. Fifth, more collaborative innovation. In today's world, one of the keys to successful innovation and commercialization of new products and services increasingly lies in collaboration. What's more, and this is especially relevant in today's depressed economy, collaboration is one of the most cost-effective ways to innovate. But collaboration is tricky stuff, which is why intellectual property is so essential in facilitating knowledge transfer and collaborating in collaborative or open innovation. In fact, I'd argue intellectual property is the sine qua non of open innovation itself, for it provides the legal scaffolding upon which firms can share their most innovative research and partner together to create new products and services. Without IP rights, firms would inevitably resist sharing their ideas for fear that others would misappropriate or misuse them. But with such rights, firms can share their innovations with others, secure in the knowledge that all are fully protected in deploying them to mutual advantage. That's on the giving side and on the receiving side. No better proof of this than Microsoft. The past 6 years, since we've adopted an open innovation IP strategy, we've formed over 500 collaborations with other companies, individual companies, versus none before that period of time. These partnerships include many of the largest Japanese industrial firms, which we previously enjoyed not the best of relations, to put it mildly, with a wide variety of startups and VCs with whom we previously had no relations, and with many open source firms, the number is well over 20 now, who once were considered the enemy, but now in many cases have become allies. A shameless plug now. If you want to read about that, I wrote a book about it, a recent book called Burning the Ships, which just came out on that subject, which you can get over Amazon anyway. In any event, let me ask everyone here to look across the landscape of innovation during this decade. We can see that many exciting startups have flourished, from Skype in Europe to YouTube and Twitter in the US. But while we have hundreds of different kinds of social networking firms, very few, if any, have yet found the key to profitability. Nor do these innovations appear to have led to the creation of whole new industries, to substantial job growth, and the creation of broad social wealth for society. As we saw in the earlier era of things like packet switching and semiconductors and PCs and the internet. Are we, in a sense, just spinning our innovation wheels now? This will be an interesting topic for discussion here. But what I'm even more sure of is this: the need for innovators to solve grand problems, create new advances for society, has never been greater. New medicines, alternative energy, climate change, health and sanitation, agriculture, transportation, security, and privacy. The world now offers innovators a once-in-a-century set of opportunities to make real change. Finally, let me acknowledge the obvious. I am here today, and I represent a very large company, a company whose innovative work I can take pride in. And there are some lessons in smart innovation that I believe a Microsoft can teach. But if we're really gathered here today to talk about the future of innovation, then I believe we should pay special attention in our discussions to the needs of the startups and the small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the source of most of the disruptive innovations that change the world and will change the world. Thank you very much.